Hey guys, it's Travis. I'm the creative arts pastor here at FCC in Santa Maria, California. This is STEMS Rig Rundown Part 2, kind of the second part of this little STEMS series. Some of you call STEMS loops or backing tracks. We call them STEMS around here. And in the Part 1 of this video, I kind of explain why that is, and I go through the rig that we use to cue those live. But we've had quite a few questions about how we're actually setting up those stems. So what's the pre-process in order to be ready for rehearsals and for Sunday mornings? And so I thought I'd just take a couple of minutes and just go through what it is that we use, how we do it. I know there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but this works really well for us, and so hopefully this answers your questions. And we want to be a church that resources other churches and ministries. So if you have questions after this, if I wasn't clear on anything, or if you've got maybe a little bit different way to do it and you're wondering how to make a transition to something like this, I'd be happy to field those questions. My email contact information will be in the description below, and you can definitely reach out to me, and I'd be happy to chat with you. So here it is, STEMS Rig Rundown Part 2. All right, so we'll go through the stems. There's a couple different ways to go about doing kind of the back end work to get stems ready to use live. One, you can write your own and record your own stems. The process is really simple. It's just simple multi-track recording. So whether you want just to add one little percussion type loop, or full on production backing with keys and double electric guitars and extra percussion and all that good stuff. It's really just simple multi-track recording, so you can do that in any recording software. We use Logic here. We use Pro Tools or any number of software programs. Really love Logic. It plays really nice with MainStage because they're both in the Apple family, and used to be all part of one suite. Now they're broken apart. But man, it's a great program to use here. So that's what we use. We make some of our stems in-house, but we also purchase some of them. So loopcommunity.com or multitracks.com are great places to purchase. So if you have budget for that, or maybe you don't have the resources in order to spend time building stems, you can certainly purchase them. Most of our stuff comes from Loop Community, some of it from Multitracks. Either one is good, and either of them will work well. When you download something from either of those sites, it's going to build a file on your computer, and it will break every single track apart in that download. So you'll open up this file, and you'll see that it'll say click, it'll say cues, it'll say the percussion, or whatever is involved in that stem. So it'll break it all apart for you, and all you have to do is you can drag individual tracks in to your Logic project, or you can just do select all and drag them all in. And I always start with a brand new project, and so you can do it pretty simply that way. After you do that, I like to go up to the top of the project and enter the information in. So the beats per minute will be, this one is song Everbeat by Bethel. It's 69 BPM. This is in the key of D, so we'll change that real quick. It's in 4/4 time, and so here's kind of our quick project info right there. And I just drug all these in. I like to make them colorful if I have time, if I'm not in a time crunch. That way I can see what's what, and I try to color code things so all the keys are these kind of blue color. The loops are kind of in this purple family, and kind of goes down from there. This particular song has 18 tracks on it. That's a whole ton. Really not necessary in all the stems that we do. Sometimes they're just 3. It'll be a click, cues, and something really simple like a percussion loop or a pad. But at any rate, this one has 18, and it's really no big deal because a lot of them are similar in nature. Their percussion tracks are 3 different keys, 4 percussion, 2 loops. So they'll kind of get put down into one track in the end, and we'll go that way. So all right, so you open a new Logic project. You grab all the tracks from that you've downloaded. You drag them in to Logic here. Everything will be named. All these tracks will be named whatever it was named in the in the file that you drug in. You can rename these if you like. I just leave them usually, but the important step is this. It would be easy to just bypass all of Logic and just go right to importing into MainStage, and that would work, but you'd be missing out on a whole bunch of, for me, critical information, because I don't want to use stems as just a backing track I have to sing karaoke to. We really want to have control over different parts of it. In order to do that, we need to create markers within MainStage or within Logic, so that MainStage can see all those markers, and we can choose whether we want to go to chorus number 2 or do a bridge another time or another verse, those type of things. So if you watched the part 1 of this stems rig rundown, you'll notice we use the Looptimus controller that's purchased by Loop Community. If we purchase a stem from them, then these things kind of play real nice. But we also, what we did is we purchased the Loop Community project that's in MainStage. So it's actually a little template that they put together in MainStage, and then I modified that a little bit. And it really, all these things kind of work well together, and I like doing that, doing things that are all in the same family and that are made to work well together. All right, so here we are again. We're in Logic, and what we need to do is we need to create markers, and I already did that in this this project, and to save time, I just open this up for us to look at. But if you click on this little arrow down here, it says show hide global tracks, and there's a bunch of other information that you don't always need, and so it kind of hides a little bit. But if you show it, then there's a section here where we can click markers. If you add a marker, it will add one of these markers that I've put across the top here. So the first one is, it's actually 2 measures, and it's a count in. So I made that the count in. So the click starts, and then you can see here on the cues track, it says intro 2, 3, 4. That's what each of these represent, is intro 2, 3, 4. So this is actually a count in section, and then our intro starts. Goes to verse, chorus, a down chorus, it goes through the whole arrangement of the song. So really simple here. In Logic, this is also a great place if you want to change the arrangement. And so if maybe you guys don't like doing a down chorus here, you want to go straight to the interlude, we could just in Logic do some pretty simple editing and edit out all of this down chorus section and then move right to an interlude. So you do all that editing first and then make these markers in here. These markers are really important for how we get to cue things in MainStage. So create markers, not arrangement notes. Sometimes you can do markers that are arrangement markers. Those won't work in MainStage. You got to create an actual marker here, and you just simply click that plus button, and then it'll do a marker, and you name it, and then you go to the next spot in the playhead, wherever that may be. It's here, and then you can click another, add another marker and name it, and you just keep going. You can color code these if you want. I choose not to, because it's only something that is kind of a visual thing. But you can color them if you want to and name them whatever you want. It's really easy to add markers really quickly this way, is you just look at the cues track, and so you don't have to listen to the entire song all the way through in order to find where the next spot to put a marker is. You can just look at the cues track. There's going to be one right at the end of this, and there's going to be one right at the end of this here. So you can see you can just navigate that, and then you can just simply get to that spot in the playhead and then listen to what this little verbal on the cues is, and it'll tell you what to make the marker. So
pre-chorus 2.
Right, so that's just a simple pre-chorus. Apparently Logic decided to quit because we've got all kinds of different things running for doing this video. So let's reopen it up here. Hopefully this doesn't crash again, but this would be a pre-chorus.
Pre-chorus 2, 3, 4.
Cool. So pretty simple there. You can just jump over here. This one will say down chorus, and so on and so forth. So you can easily add markers by just watching the cues track. There again, you go to this hide show global markers tracks, and that's where you get to that. When you're done with adding all those markers and you have the arrangement that you want in here, you want to export all of these tracks, and this is another important part in the process. So each of these tracks needs to be exported separately. You can't bounce them all down to one track, or else you're not going to have the control that we like to have in MainStage. So you just click on a track and make it highlighted, and then right-click over it, and export as audio file. And if you do this, you're going to get this pop-up window. And there's a couple important things here. You can save it wherever you want. So in your thing, we save to a separate server that's on site here, so that we can access it from my computer or one in the tech booth, our Creative Arts Associates computer, just kind of anything that we want. It's not locally on any hard drive that we have to go here. We can just access it from the server. But a couple important information here: save file format. So when you get files from Loop Community or from Multitracks, they're going to come in WAV format. If you're using Ableton, WAV is a great format to use. If you're using MainStage, I highly recommend this CAF, this CAF file. So select that CAF file. MainStage reads it really well, and it includes all that marker information and track information that we have in Logic. If you have any plugins in Logic, it includes all of that. I mean, it's just really a good file format for doing it within Logic and MainStage. So if you're using the same system, save it CAF. We just have this really simple at 16-bit. You can go, up to 32-bit on this system, but that'll change depending on what interfaces and computer and software you have. The rest of this I don't include. If we had some audio tails in here or some automation that we had built in, then you can click on this to include those type of things. For here, this is a really simple one, and so we don't have any of that information needed. So you would click save. I've already got this saved, so I don't need it, but we will. You click save, and then you go back and you do it on the next track. So export as audio file, and just repeat the process all the way down. Put them all in a file. Next thing you do is you'd open MainStage. So we've got MainStage 3 here. And like I said before, we purchased a template from Loop Community. So here's the little Loop Community logo in here. I modified this template a bit. So if you got, if you download this, it's going to look just a little bit different, mainly in this section here. But most of it will be the same, and definitely it'll all work the same way. So if you want to do any editing, you got to do that in the layout mode. This is the edit mode, and edit mode is really a good mode to use when we're starting. Perform mode goes into full screen, and then kind of locks you out of any editing functions because it gets rid of this mixer window that's over here and any kind of inspector stuff that's down here. So here's the song Everbee. You can see the markers that we included in Logic came over, and I'll show you how to get to those. So first thing you would do is you would add a new patch. So just click on this plus right here, add a new patch, and then name it. So we did Everbee in the key of D. Sometimes we do these in different keys. I don't put all of the information. It doesn't need to say 69 beats per minute and any other information that we want in there. I just keep it really simple. Everbee in the key of D. That way we know when we're looking at this on the stage that this is all the right information. And then here's our mixer window, and each of the tracks that we had in Logic need to have a track here in MainStage. So you exported them all, and we're going to import them now into MainStage, and we'll do it one by one. So here's our click track. The Loop Community template comes automatically preloaded with these playback devices right here. So these playback inputs. If you click on that, it'll pull up this window. Click on the cog here and open file, and then you go find the file that you had for the click track. So wherever you saved it, that's the deal. And you can see I already have it here. Everbee 69 key of D click track CAF. Right, so that's the deal. You will have this tempo info that will automatically come in. If this is different, I'll show you where to find the tempo thing. So if you click on Everbee, and then over on one of the tracks here, and then you can go to the attributes, and sorry, they changed all this, so my bad. Let's go to this. If you click on over here in the patch list, Everbee, then it'll tell you the tempo of the song, and you can change it here. So this is 69 BPM in 4/4. You can do 6/8 and whatever tempo you need. All of that. You can actually change that stuff all right here. So again, that's in the patch list here. Click on Everbee or the name of the patch, and then under attributes, that's where you change it. Then when you click on the playback plugin, this will all have the right tempo in there. That's pretty important. And then I always put sync on. If you have these files in anything but the .caf file format, then this will be grayed out. But if you have it these in the CAF format, then you can sync these. And that means they're all going to start and stop and be all together in tempo, and that's pretty important, especially when you've got 18 different tracks that you're working on. And if you have any computer lag or anything, this will just keep everything synced up and ready to go. So make sure your tempo information is right. Make sure the sync is on, and you can click the file cog right here, open file, and then grab that file and import it. It goes pretty quickly, and then you can see in here it's got all those markers that we created within Logic as well. So those imported in. So you do that for each of the tracks. If you need to add more, you can just simply go up here and add a new track, or even just click on one of the tracks and do a simple copy and paste however many times you need, and then you can name them down here. So this is effects, but you could name it whatever you wanted as you go, and it'll include all this information with playback and all the sends and everything you need. So I talked a little bit about this mixer window. If you have questions about that, you can email me and or watch other videos about MainStage and how to use MainStage. It's a pretty intuitive program, and that's the deal there. An important part here is if you click on one of these markers, you're going to get this screen control inspector that's down here at the bottom window. I always do the playback in queues, so select playback in queues, and these markers will show up there. If it just has, I think it'll default to patch list, and it'll just copy whatever you have in your set list here over into the markers thing. That's not going to be real helpful. So go to playback in queues, and it'll bring all these markers down. It'll actually do it in any of the tracks that we have in here. But I like to use the queues track because that's the one that we build the arrangement off of, and so I know it's all going to be set right there. So playback in queues in this markers section here will populate with all the markers that you had in Logic. So pretty simple as far as that goes. And then if you're in the middle of rehearsal, and I talked about this in the other video as well, you can just click on this interlude after the down chorus and click on marker play, and it'll start from this section right here. And that way in your rehearsals you don't have to go through the whole song just to get down this one little part. So that's a pretty easy thing. And then also if you're practicing and you want to just go over this interlude, maybe you're an electric guitar player and you really just want to get that lead line down that's going to be played in this interlude, you can click the cycle button and it'll just continue to loop that interlude through. So it's a pretty good tool for rehearsal purposes and practicing as well. So that's the really simple overview of how to import things from a purchased stem from Loop Community or from Multitracks, take it into Logic, create markers in there, maybe even change the arrangement, exporting it in the CAF format, importing it into MainStage, and then from there making sure that you have everything that you need as far as markers go, and your I/O can all be set here from all these sends or your output section as well. So you can send these to different channels, and so depending on the interface and the system that you have, we just run 2 channels output, the click and cues in the left side, and then all that other information on the right side. But we can mix all that other information into a stereo track on the other side, and it works really well. So that's simply how it is for us. Again, there's a lot of other programs, but MainStage and Logic work really well for us, and we really like it around here. If you have any questions, give me a shout. Contact information is in the description below. Be happy to help out with this. And there's some other videos as well, so you can watch other videos that might help with putting together stems for your church. And yeah, we'll see you later.